Let's take a look at fixing an image. So I'm going to go ahead, open up a sequence, bring a clip in. We'll jump over to here. Let's bring this full screen. We have a variety of images here. Some are already color corrected, some are less color corrected. I'm going to actually give us even more to work with. So we might have an image that is a little bit off. So I see this image is a little bit gold. I'm going to go ahead and just create a sequence with it. Drop that right onto create a sequence. And my assumption is, if you are watching this class, is that you've either worked with Premiere, you've taken the Quick Start course that we have, or you may have taken the Boot Camp course that we have on Premiere Pro. So I'm not going to necessarily be talking a lot about, the nuances of this is where your effects control panel, this is what you do with it. We're going to just jump right in to the idea of color correction. So if I wanted to fix something, and this isn't a bad shot, it's probably a little yellow, but I just want to do a quick fix on it. So there's probably two things I want to do. I want to, first of all, if you haven't switched over to the color workspace, you might be in the editing workspace, which looks a lot like this. Go ahead and move over and switch to the color workspace. And if you've played with it, you might want to reset it to its default. That way yours and mine will look the same. And let me talk a little bit about what we've done here. When you switch to the color workspace, it does a few things. First of all, it moves everything from your traditional editing over to the left and reveals this new panel, the Lumetri Color Effect. It is actually an effect that you can get also from the Effects tab. But this automatically opens it up so you can start working with these elements. And it brings a couple of things else into play. There'll be a new tab called Lumetri Scopes. And we will talk about the scopes later on in the course. I'll just give you a peek at what our scopes are. And these give me a graphical representation of the color and luminance information inside of my shot. So that's one of the changes that happens. Another change that happens is it turns on a feature where if I have a clip in my timeline, whatever clip that my playhead is parked over, it automatically loads it into my source monitor. And that's important because if it did not do that, you would think you're color correcting this shot, but this shot may have been the one loaded in previously. So it will automatically load in whatever shot your playhead is over. As a matter of fact, that's a preference you can set inside of Premiere if you want to work that way. So let's take a look at this image. It's pretty good. It's very golden. We're only going to do two things. This is the ADD version. We're going to go right over here to our Lumetri color panel. We're going to go into basic correction, and we're just going to use two things. And I'm not usually a big fan of auto fixing, but sometimes that's all the time you have. Sometimes you just don't want to learn how to color correct, and you only have 15 minutes because you're sneaking away to watch this and your boss is coming back. So there are two things you want to do. You want to correct the luminance levels, the darkest areas and the brightest areas, and you can go ahead. This auto button down to the right, it only affects luminance levels. It will not change the color cast of your image. So if I click it, it will do its best guess, not dramatically different, but it brought the black levels down and it made sure the white levels were really bright. If I had an image that was a lot darker, and let's go ahead and bring one of those in, I'm going to bring my palette up here. Let's step in to our media. So if I have an image that is, say, rather dark, that should not be dark, and we'll go ahead and bring one of those images in. We don't want to use a night shot, so we'll go ahead. There we go. Get to see my face, and I'm going to simply bring that in, and so there's my lovely, lovely face. Let's see if my face is too big. I'm going to go ahead. This might be 4K, so I'm going to go ahead and set it to the frame size. No, we're good. So I'm obviously too yellow there, and I'm a little bit too dark, so I'll do an auto. It should have brightened me up just a little bit, And then if I want to do color correction, I need to sample something that would be white, our neutral gray. We'll get the color right there. I just grabbed something that should have been gray in my glasses, and you'll notice that it automatically took out that really yellow golden color cast. So if you have no time and don't want to learn about anything else, auto will do its best guess. And I'll tell you something, it can easily be confused. If I did auto on a really dark image, one of these night shots, it doesn't know that it's a night shot. Let me go ahead and make that big. So if I go auto, it'll open it up. So now it doesn't really look like night. And then if I do the color correction, grabbing the little eyedropper, guessing that's something that should be neutral white, kind of looks like sunset. But we know it was a night shot. So that's basically the two buttons you need to know for working with color correction.